What up, MetaZoo Maniacs? Today's May 22nd, 2025. And what I plan to do for the next few videos I put out is I plan to re-release old videos that I made about a year ago or maybe even older, and just try to keep up to date every week from about a year ago to see what the MetaZoo eBay sales were like a year ago, and were they a little higher, were they lower, about the same? Because I don't plan to post any more content on MetaZoo Menace. I want to delete all the content on there, but I don't want to delete it forever. I'm just going to repost it here. So hopefully this is a cool nostalgic blast from the past. So the video you're about to see right now is going to be May 20th of 2024. So I hope everyone enjoys watching these videos that are about a year old. I'm sure I'll say it at the end of this video too, but comment below and we'll see you in the next video. What up, MetaZoo Maniacs? So today is May 20th. Today, May 20th, 2024. Today is the day that Golden either keeps all the product and is going to auction it off on June 5th, or Mike Waddell paid the $56,000 and we have nothing to worry about, I guess. So we got Kickstarter Full Hollow Mothman Raw, freshly pulled, only $162.50. Keep that in mind if you're buying a box for, $500, $600, $700. That's crazy, only $162.50. Next we have 12 Hello Kitty booster boxes for $400, finally coming down in value, but still. Here's a cool auction. So we had 4 playtesters. The highlight was Bigfoot, right? Pretty cool. $109.39. I know it's a playtester, but that's crazy. Meanwhile, my favorite card from Wilderness, some more Wilderness playtesters. Awful, sweet looking card. This whole lot of 4 cards sold for $56. And then Chibi Bigfoot. No one cares about Chibi Bigfoot. $15.50 only for all 4 of these. Or maybe MetaZoo fans just don't give a crap about Chibis ever since the whole Hello Kitty set. These next 2 cards are very interesting to me. Now, if it's not a PSA 10, you're not going to get good value, and that's very, very clearly demonstrated here. So with X-Fractor Mothman, not very easy to pull at all, as a PSA 9 sold for $2.25. Meanwhile, the exact same card as a PSA 10 sold for $61. So that is an insane difference. I looked on the PSA Pop Report. I believe there's 19 of these graded at PSA, and 9 of them are a PSA 10. And I know Cryptid Keeper was looking to get this, and he got outbid because he wasn't paying attention. So some MetaZoo Maniac Menace picked it up. Back to those 12 boxes that were purchased for $400. I mean, this is definitely one of the best cards you can pull, and it's sold for only $39. You would be lucky as hell to pull this card in 12 boxes. I mean, you could open up 50 boxes and maybe not pull this card. This is from Nick Strength and Pokemon. I mean, only $103. This card should be like a $1,000 card, considering how impossible it is to pull. Next we have Kickstarter Piazza Bird Full Hollow PSA 10. It was a buy it now, sold for about $120 American. Next we have a sweet looking Pin Club Mothman Full Hollow with a Doodle Poncho Gemmin 10 Auto 10, $74. Let's take a closer look. Very nice. This is an absolute steal of a deal. Maybe some of these auctions were ending at a weird time of day and people weren't paying attention, but $26 Canadian. I mean, even if it was a PSA 4, I mean, this is the Rudy promo, the very first one. These used to be like insanely expensive, like several hundreds, if not close to $1,000. Correct me if I'm wrong, this used to be like a $1,000 card, I believe, when it first came out, or like $800. It was insanely expensive, I know that much. Because I know at one point I bought this card raw for over $200 American. So the fact that it's a PSA 9, I mean, that's not a horrible grade, for only $19.11 American. Here we have 6 Hello Kitty booster boxes, $213. Here we have 3 Wilderness booster boxes for $35. 3 Seance spellbooks, 3 Seance booster boxes for $41. Then we have another 3 booster boxes of Seance for $36, and these are all from Sneakouts. You're going to see something interesting in about 10 seconds. So another 3 sold for $35, so that's $35, $36, and $41 for 3 booster boxes. But this just really confuses me. Then we have 6 that sold for $132. But 6 sold for $132. But you could have bought those other 3 auctions, which would be 9 boxes total, for about $20 less than these 6 boxes. So that's interesting. Here we have 24 UFO blisters for $20, $19.50. Here we have 5 spellbooks from Wilderness for $5.50. Here we have 5 second edition spellbooks for 99 cents. Now, Sneakouts did have multiple auctions of the same thing. I just kind of chose the lowest one. But for second edition, the highest auction they had was 5 spellbooks for $9.50. Here we have 10 release event boxes from Wilderness for $15.50. Each one of these packs boxes has 3 packs, I believe. So that's 30 packs for $15.50. Here we have 4 Hello Kitty booster boxes for $142.50. Here's one of the sweetest promo cards I think is massively slept on. You can only get this in that magnetic deluxe collector's edition, whatever, Chromie Cryptic Carnival thing where you got 2 booster boxes, the sleeves and all that. And the 3 different promos. So this one sold for only $16.50, but I mean, it's got the whole party over here. Got Mothman, Hello Kitty on here, everybody. Even Bunnyman's doing a little jig. He's totally wasted. Look at him. His eyes are he's so delirious. I guess he always looks like that. Here we have a box of Nightfall, sold up in Canada for $43 Canadian, $31 American. Here's a card that is still available, so it's sold for $4.99, $5. I just wanted to show this. I mean, check out the cards corner. They still have 5 available. If you like Bigfoot and you like Hero Quest, I mean, that's a pretty sweet looking card. One thing I'm confused with though, that's Bigfoot's hand right here and right here, but who's holding the bat up here? Or is it stuck in his head or something? There, I'll try and zoom in more. Oh, maybe Sam Sinclair hit him with the bat and it's stuck in his brains up here? I don't know. Pretty cool artwork for $5, and you can still get more copies from the seller. So here we have the Mothman promo from Dark Tower, the Mothman Festival. $26 only. Here's a pretty cool card. Bunnyman Full Hollow from Caster's Cup, PSA 9. Only $23. Here we have Hide Behind from Topps Chrome, serialized out of 99, green refractor. PSA 10 for $18.99. What's that hide behind? I am Groot. Here we have another 6 Hello Kitty Chromie Cryptic Carnival booster boxes for $212.50. Dragon's Breath. I've seen this card show up on eBay a few times. Finally sold for $168.05. Here we have Bigfoot PSA 10 from Wilderness. Just a regular one. It's not even eBay edition or anything. PSA 10 sold for $34. We have PSA 10 Power Up Red. Sold for $20.50. Here we have Paul Bunyan from the theme deck. You get 2 of those in every theme deck. PSA 10 sold for $20.50. Kickstarter release event promo PSA 10 sold for $42. In case you've never seen this card, there you go. Here we have the Mothman Blister promo Kickstarter, sold for $127.50 as a PSA 10. Now, if you're opening up a first edition box and you don't pull red ink, and you pull a Forest Aura and get a PSA 10, it might sell for $30, so that's not bad. Here we have a first edition Sam Sinclair PSA 10, $20.50. I have no idea what happened here. It's a first edition Sinkhole Sam. I know it's not the most popular, but it looks pretty sweet. I've always liked the artwork. PSA 10 sold for only $2.25. Meanwhile, Holy Gem Full Hollow PSA 10 sold for $20.50. And even Reverse Hollow PSA 10, I mean, it's a Reverse Hollow Hodag, sold for $22.50. Meanwhile, Full Hollow Sinkhole Sam sold for only $2. I don't understand what happened there at all. Even this, what is going on here? Frank Shaw's Gargoyle? Now I'm wondering if maybe some of these cards that no one wanted to grade because they weren't like considered hits, not many of them were graded, so it's hard to find them as PSA 10. I mean, it sold for $33. Here we have PSA 10 Smokey the Bear promo. Not the easiest thing to get as a PSA 10, and it sold for $35.77. Let's just take a little look at Smokey the Bear here. Oh, fun little fact. I don't think they ever called it Smokey the Bear, but even I say Smokey the Bear, but it's just Smokey Bear, right? Smokey the Bear is not a thing, but Smokey Bear is the actual way to say it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Smokey the Bear was never the way it was worded. It's always Smokey Bear. But everyone remembers it and refers to it as Smokey the Bear. That's our Mandela effect moment of the video. Here we have a case. Hey, I bought from Blowout Cards right when this came out over a year ago. Topps Chrome, so you get 8 boxes in a case, $315. When I bought this a year ago, it was about $600, $650. So you can buy a sealed case for $315. That's not a bad idea to keep sealed. Hey, Kickstarter Mothman Full Hollow BGS9. $240 as a buy it now. Let's see the subgrades. Next we have 144 Seance blisters for $225.80. This blows my mind every time I see one of these sales from Argos. 10 of these boxes, right? These Christmas boxes. One of these boxes, when this came out in 2022 at Christmas time, was $100 on MetaZoo Marketplace. Now you can get 10 of these boxes for $120. I mean, it's like buy one, get 9 free. That's absolutely bonkers. Here we have Native Full Hollow Piazza Bird, $22.50 raw. Hey, we got a box of Wilderness and a box of Nightfall for $34. Ooh, Sample Chupacabra. That's a nice looking card. $192.05 raw. Here we have a Full Hollow Magic Cast Mothman. I feel one of the more underrated Mothman as a PSA 10. Only $15.50. Then we have another Magic Cast Metapoo Full Hollow Mothman, but this one's autographed. PSA 10, auto got a 10. $52. Hey, look, he drew a little stinky poo right there. That's awesome. Good job, Runes. These used to be pretty damn expensive. Collecticon Casher's Cup, 4 sealed packs, the promo packs for $105. Pretty cool. I don't remember what you can get out of here, but I mean, for a collector's item, that's pretty crazy. And if MetaZoo ever... Wait a minute, there's 5 in the picture. What did the listing say? So I wonder if you're going to get all 5 or just 4 of these. Anyways, not a bad deal for a pretty cool collector's item. 2 MetaZoo times eBay exclusive Wilderness booster boxes. They got the 10 packs, 1 box topper each. $38 for 2. When these first came out, they were $50 on eBay for just 1. Hey, Blood Ruby, Full Hollow, PSA 10. Oh, second edition. Okay, that's why it's so low. I mean, it's autographed. It's pretty cool. For only $12.50. I mean, if you want poncho autographs that are, you know, certified by PSA and it's got a 10, that's a pretty sweet price. Another sweet looking card with the poncho autograph. $29. PSA 10, auto 10, Chaos Crystal. Second edition, but pretty sweet looking card. This is pretty sweet. I mean, getting cards like this, the population can't be that high. Only $46. It's a second edition Full Hollow Mothman, which is sweet enough, but the auto got a 10. Let's take a look at the auto. Probably is a little doodle. Yeah, right down here. I mean, for $46, why not? And there's over 1,000 PSA 10 Full Hollow Mothman first edition, autographed with a PSA 10 auto as well, for $126.50. This was definitely a steal of a deal. Here we have the Kickstarter Mothman blister and the spellbook PSA 10, so both PSA 10s for $140 total. Here we have Rudy's Red Crayon, sold for $34, and that's probably because it has no chance at a PSA 10. It is 100% off-centered. Here we have 12 more boxes of Chromie's Cryptic Carnival for $411. Sheep Squatch Playtester, only $17.50. Here we have one of those Fusion Auras from Native. Wow, PSA 10, $11.50. So is Sacrificial Stone not a popular one? I know Magma is probably the most expensive one, but I don't know. I don't know the difference between, I think there's like 9 of these or something. Different ones, 19 of them. I don't know, but that's pretty cheap for a PSA 10. Here we have Headless Horseman, Pristine 10, Hero Quest, only $36. I'm surprised it sold for this cheap. Hey, we have some LGS promos. So this one sold for $4.25. That is Night Marchers. Just thought I'd zoom in on these because you don't see these very often. It's like alternate artwork. Our next LGS promo would be Cumberland Spaceman, sold for $5.50. And I am shocked this sold for only $4.25. It's the Misha Pichu. I mean, see, that's where it says LGS promo. And that's just a sweet, sweet artwork. That's a really nice artwork. Oh, I guess this picture answers my question from earlier. So it's Bigfoot from Hero Quest for $8. That's pretty good. Yeah, so I guess the bat is stuck in his head. So he got hit right in the brain and the bat got stuck there. That's why in the other picture the bat's just floating there. $8. Here we had a Canadian seller selling a box of Nightfall and the Spellbook for $23 or $16.91 American. Here we have New Year's New Beginnings, second edition, $5.07. Here we have one of those Channel Fireball promos. These used to sell for a lot, but then when Channel Fireball went to shit and screwed MetaZoo and everyone else over, $3.25. Pretty cool promos though. Remember that Kickstarter Mothman promo earlier? Yeah, at the PSA 10 it sold for what, $127? As a PSA 9, only $20.50. Here we have a Trick No Treat. Sorry, it's not Trick No Treat. It's Halloween Halloween. $15. That's not bad at all. Well, this card sold for a pretty penny. Bigfoot from the very first top set, the Aura Hollow, autographed. Only authenticated though. PSA 10 for the card. $110.27. I thought there was all these Squonk fans out there. How did this sell for so cheap? It's even the reverse hollow from Kickstarter, which is the best you could do for Squonk. Gem Mint 9.5, only $3.25. Here we have a sample Death Beam PSA 8 for $112.50. Let's take a look at that. Sample cards are always sweet. Here we have two like original sketch cards by JoJo, authenticated at, what's the name of this company? DGS or something. But pretty cool. Like, you need both cards to complete the picture. Pretty cool as a set. $94. Yeah, not bad. I mean, that's pretty cool. Here's a Trick No Treat. That's why I was saying that earlier. I knew this one was coming. $53 for PSA 8 sample Halloween card. I believe it's a non-hollow. No, it's hollow. Okay, my bad. Hollow Trick No Treat. Pretty cool card. You definitely don't see this very often. PSA 8, $53. Why not? Here we have the Caster's Cup jersey and the promo card. $34 for Quetzalcoatlus PSA 9. I mean, and probably one of the sweetest looking Loveland Frogman cards if you see it in person. $41 plus the jersey. And what is this created? PSA 9. This picture doesn't even do it justice. If you ever see this card in person, it looks so much better than the Krypton Nation Loveland Frogman. Because it has a newer hollow pattern on it. It looks pretty badass. Here we have Mothman from Topps Chrome Cryptid Camera, serialized 32 out of 50, sold for $147.50 raw. Here we have a Kickstarter Quetzalcoatlus full hollow raw, $12.50. That's bananas. UFO playtester card, $64. Holy crap. Hey, we have a 1-on-1 artist sketch from Kelsey, Loveland Frogman, $102. This is a pretty sweet card, man. It's got look. Let's just take a moment to look at that. Got MetaZoo on the bottom there. Let's flip it over. Authenticated. Boom. Pretty sweet. For $102.50, I'd say that's a pretty sweet pickup. So over in Europe, we had 10 Krypton Nation First Edition booster boxes sell for €655, which is $712 American. So about $71 each, which is about right for what it's selling for over here. When you're considering how much you're saving on shipping with buying 10 boxes in one lot, this was definitely a good deal. And now, if you made it this far in the video, you're going to be rewarded. It is Grail time. So we're going to start in no particular order. I'm just going to pound through all these beautiful cards. So PSA 10 Fan Illustrator Metal, sold by Bailey. So if you ever see Cardora Collective, that's Bailey. PSA 10, $182.50. That's a lot cheaper than it used to sell for, but still a pretty penny. Another card sold by Bailey for $61 only, PSA 9. The Dimmock Secret Rare. That's crazy. This is one of the sweetest Fresno Nightcrawler cards you're going to find. Well, probably the sweetest. It's a pretty awesome looking card. For $61, steal of a deal. But if you wanted that same card as a PSA 10, it was going for $210.50. So we had a Kickstarter booster box, sell up in Canada for $905 Canadian, $665 American. Then you have the PSA 9 Mothman from Revive for $305. That is one crazy ass. Oh, we went really close in. That is one crazy ass Mothman artwork. And where was all this for all those original art sketches that Bailey had? Where was all of these? Where was all these super sweet original Mothman sketches? I didn't see any of those. Here we have the Soul Gamble from Revive, $337 for PSA 10. So how much was that Kickstarter box? $665? Or would you rather have a giant Space Brains sample card, full hollow PSA 10 for $679? Oh, another one by Bailey. PSA 10, 535 only. Ooh, PSA 10, Men in Black sample card. So is Bailey staying in MetaZoo or whatever? Like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. I mean, he's selling off all his grails, so I'm assuming he's completely done with MetaZoo. Even though I heard rumors that he was talking about maybe buying it, but then he banned everyone from his Discord, so I don't know what the hell's going on there, but who cares? These cards are sweet. Sample Growth, PSA 10, 662. Here we have Unrefined Chaos Crystal. That was a hard card to come across. You don't see often. $290 only for a PSA 10 from Revive. Oh, yet again, another Bailey Grail. PSA 9 Blue Ink, $700. And another one, probably his biggest grail that he put on here. $1,425. PSA 10 Red Ink. Here, I'm just going to zoom in properly. Let's enjoy this moment. You don't see this too often. Holy moly. So what, was he forced to sell all this off, or I don't get what's going on. So hopefully someone comments below to clarify the confusion that I have as to far as what Bailey's role with MetaZoo is, because he sold, these are huge bangers. Oh, and yet another one that got even above Red Ink. That's crazy. So let me just slow roll this for 1 sec. So we had Blue Ink PSA 9 for $700. Red Ink PSA 10 for $1,425, and then Green Man for $1,625. Holy crap, let's take a look at this dude. Damn, what number was it? Number 94 out of 100. I would say the right border is definitely noticeably thicker than the left border. Now I know with PSA you don't have to be perfect 50-50, it could be 60-40, but still. And then another one, not as high in price, but $730. The Mothman, that's impossible to get unless you're Argos. Unscratched, so it hasn't redeemed for the skateboard yet. PSA 10, $730. And I wonder, because at the Golden Warehouse they have all the skateboards there. Could you maybe scratch this someday and get the skateboard? If, well, I wonder what's going to happen. Today's May 20th. Did Mike Waddell pay the $56,000 to Golden to get the product? Or is Golden going to auction it off on June 5th? That's another huge question. Feel free to discuss in the comments below. Another thing I wanted to point out, so we saw Bailey's Green Man sold for $1,625. There was another Green Man autograph that sold for only $500. I mean, it wasn't graded, I don't know why, but it just has an authentic auto by Mike Waddell on the Green Man. So where's the auto? Oh, it's right up here, right up the side. Boom. So that's interesting. What number was that out of 100? Number 98 out of 100. Damn, this was only $500. But Bailey sold for over triple. That's crazy. So we had Hero Quest Piazza Bird PSA 10. Sold for $130. I have one of these, and personally, I think this is one of the best, well, the best Piazza Bird artwork in all of MetaZoo. That's my favorite artwork. There was also a Rudy the Crayon Eater promo card that sold for $150 as a PSA 10. If you like the Rudy promos like I do and Escaped Alien, then this was, well, this is a pretty sweet card. And if you don't like Rudy, then you'll consider this a complete ripoff. We had Fresno Nightcrawlers, sold for $175 American raw. So let's just take a quick look at that since we don't see that too often. And I know there's some people that really like this card. So to end this video, I just want to show the progression of Blue Ink sales, PSA 9s. So back on March 24th, sold for $475 as a PSA 9. And then we had an auction of a raw Blue Ink that sold for $760, but then there's another auction on April 12th. So that was March 30th, and on April 12th, sold as a PSA 9 for $760. Now, this person didn't pay, and in all these auctions, like maybe sometimes people didn't pay, I don't know. But I know for a fact this one didn't pay, so they relisted it again. And as a PSA 9, the Blue Ink sold for only $390 back on April 20th. So 1 month ago today, and then if we scroll up a little, we had Blue Ink PSA 9 sold for $650, and then PSA 9 Blue Ink on May 18th, so obviously 2 days ago, $550. Then another one sold for $700 in auction. And remember, these are all PSA 9s. And then a little higher up, PSA 9 autographed by Victor Larson sold for $455. And then another one, best offer, accepted price $600. And I point this out because it's not often that an auction sells for more than a buy it now. I mean, Bailey's auction sold for $700 for the Blue Ink PSA 9. Meanwhile, there was a PSA 9 that had an autograph of Victor Larson for $455 the next day. So I don't know what happened there. Like, am I missing something? I don't know who the high rollers are that are buying Blue Inks, but why would you? Who bought one for $700 one day as a PSA 9? Here, let's show the full picture here. Now, I'm not saying there's anything weird going on. I'm just pointing it out that I find it interesting that on May 18th, a card sold by Bailey, the Blue Ink PSA 9, sold for $700 in auction. But then the next day, right, see down here, May 19th, a PSA 9 autograph Blue Ink sold for $455. So it sold for what, $245 less? And it's autographed, it's authenticated, and it's a PSA 9. So why was this one worth so much more? And then on top of that, on May 19th, again, a PSA 9 Blue Ink, right, said $900 or best offer. We'll go back over here. Sold for $600 as best offer. So who's paying $700 for Bailey's PSA 9 Blue Ink? But meanwhile, there's two other ones that sold within 24 hours, sold for a lot less. I mean, his was a regular PSA 9. This is a regular PSA 9. It sold for $100 less. And this one was autographed and only sold for $455. The only thing I can think of is maybe the time of the auction ending. It was ending in the afternoon instead of in the evening. Maybe people weren't available to look at this auction or pay attention to it. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm not saying anything shady's going on. I know a lot of people see Bailey as being shady, but in this case, maybe it's not any shadiness. Maybe it's just the time of the auction. Because this card, obviously you'd rather have the authenticated auto from Victor Larson on Blue Ink PSA 9 for $455 instead of Bailey's just regular PSA 9 for $700, or even this one that sold for $600. So anyways, give me your 2 cents on all these auctions, all these crazy grails, where you think MetaZoo's going. Remember, it's May 20th. You're watching this on May 21st, actually. I'm editing this on May 20th. So maybe you know already, like, did Mike Waddell get his $56,000 together or whatever amount and get all the product from Golden Warehouse? Or is Golden going to sell it on June 5th? And yeah, I guess comment below. Give me your 2 cents. Tell me what you think. And we'll see you in the next video.